Welcome to the Sober Side podcast.
Hi.
This isn't our usual set. We're trying something new. We're also, facing some difficulties. But, when you're facing difficulties, you can either quit or you can keep pushing. It's the only two options that we really have. Not to go off on a motivational speech. But anyways, we're doing this because it's important, obviously, to get the message out, to share the wisdom that you have with our audience. So back to you. Tell us who you are, how much time clean, sober you have, and what was your drug of choice and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm super grateful that this happened. I'm glad you overcame the circumstances. I'm here to obviously share how I've overcome mine.
Perfect.
So, I guess you could say, man, I've tried everything. I've tried pretty much every drug. I've do have a very bad alcohol problem. I am a recovering alcoholic.
So the term sober for you is more aligned, right? Because you either go with the term sober or clean, right? When it comes to substances, it's clean. When it comes to alcohol, it's sober. So sober is the word that you like to use, or you don't really care.
Correct. Yeah. I guess, see, that's always been, so this is all new to me, sobriety.
Okay.
That's really sad and embarrassing to admit.
It's not.
But I've been trying to learn like the proper terminology, these rules that I don't know. I guess more like guidelines. Yeah. Right. Like the recovery treatment centers offer us. The Book of AA. So, I guess you were saying sober, to be clean of all alcohol. I have completely gave up drinking alcohol. I do not resort to chemicals. I had a horrible cocaine problem. That's a whole different story, but I'd like to live a sober life.
Awesome. And how much time in sobriety do you have as of right now?
8 months.
Nice. Heck yeah. So, as you might...
Well, I'm sorry. 11 months. I'm a little nervous right now.
Don't be. Look, we have the... That'd be nice. So look, our mission is to give the audience some wisdom, some guidelines through your personal experience on how to push through, because right now what you're doing is the hardest part of sobriety, because the first few months, like up until a year and a half, that's when you're tested the most. So right now you're like fully in, the fire, I would say. So you have the most, like, how do I say it? Fresh wisdom to share. There's people who have like 11 years, 20 years clean. For them, that was such a long time ago that their lives are completely different now. So it's very important to have people like you that are still within that like 1 or 2 years, because that's, I would say, the hardest part about this. So that's one of the main things I want to focus on is what you're doing now, how you're staying clean, and your daily struggles and battles and how you overcome those. But before we get there, I want to get into your life story. Okay. Yeah. So I always like to get started by asking the guest what their first ever memory is. Like, what's the first ever thing you can think of, like, ever?
Oh gosh. Like, first ever memory?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. I actually wouldn't want to share it.
Don't share it.
But maybe and I'm not going to. But that's pretty much how my life begins, with not the best memories. Kind of. I like to say, or one of my friends said that definitely never had a chance. So I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll ask you the questions if you don't think you know you're comfortable with it. You don't have to.
No, it's cool. Yeah, you just kind of like guide me through this. Just ask me questions.
I got you.
I guess.
Don't worry.
I'll flow with it.
I'll do my thing. So, okay. So describe to me how childhood was like, and where did you grow up? Like, what part of town? Where? In what?
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. So, childhood. I'll just make it super short in like a little bubble. Born in California. At 2 years old, I had to go live in Ecuador with my godparents because there was just my family had broken apart, and so me and my brother stayed there, and those were where my first memories were, and like I said earlier, they weren't not the best memories. I feel like that's where I realize now in my sobriety that's where my trauma really stemmed. There. And so I stayed there. I lived there for from the age of like 2 to 5. And then my mother was able to bring us back here, and I lived in Huntington Beach. So my mother got a place in Huntington Beach with my stepdad. And I've resided in Huntington Beach since I was 5 years old.
Okay, nice. And can I ask why Ecuador of all places?
Yeah. So I stayed in Ecuador because my mother's family is all there. My mother came from Ecuador here at the age of 18, 19. And so when she was going through her divorce, she couldn't take care of my brother and I, so our godparents took care of us because they lived very well down there, and so we were very well taken care of. Very well taken care of.
Nice. What do you recall like from Ecuador and kind of like growing up there? And at what age did you say you came back at 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't have like too many memories from over there?
Oh man.
Or you do?
I actually have a lot of memories there, and like I mentioned earlier,
if they're not good, you don't have to talk about it.
I'm not going to talk about it, but I like to kind of just be kind of open a little and just say, I do have a lot of memories there, but again, they were like a mix of good and bad. The good was with my godparents and my family. I was shown lots of love. The bad was with the other people outside of my family. But I really did. I felt very loved.
Amazing. And then, so you came back to California, Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And you were staying with your mom.
Yes.
And you said were they married? Was it the husband or?
Okay, so yeah, my mom ended up getting she had a boyfriend, and who is now my stepdad. They ended up he convinced her to bring us back here. They got a house together in Huntington Beach, and so we were able to reside there. I'm sorry. What was the follow-up question?
No worries. And then, so you guys get back, and then how was it like growing up in Huntington Beach?
Oh,
and then,
Huntington Beach, yeah. Man, I love Huntington Beach.
Yeah?
I have a really, really good memories.
Okay, perfect. Then we can talk about some of those. So tell me what it was like, growing up in Huntington Beach, and then, walk me through like middle school, high school, and then when was your first experience with any kind of like mood or mind altering substance?
Okay. So yeah, I grew up in Huntington Beach from the age of 5. It was safe. I felt very safe in my neighborhood. I was always, I really loved the culture. Huntington Beach is full of surfing and skateboarding, and it became my outlet. You know, it was what brought me a lot of joy, you know, in my life. Like, it was like a beautiful distraction for me, and not just like the skateboarding, but the surfing. So the whole lifestyle, it was my whole world, you know, I would ditch school to go try to learn how to surf, you know?
Surfing is pretty hard, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very hard. I still suck. But, you know, I love it because it's a lifestyle. Huntington Beach literally is like, has their own lifestyle. It's cool. It's fun. But unfortunately, there are a lot of drugs and alcohol there. It's party city. Party city. The parties never end, you know. I went to Huntington Beach High School freshman year, and that's when I started partying. So that's when I started messing around with alcohol, cocaine, just a little bit of everything, you know. I tried not to really, I like experimented with a lot of stuff because it was always around me, but I never really wanted to make it a habit, any like drugs a habit. So like, I just kind of like stuck with drinking. So drinking was like my thing, you know, because I didn't want to be a drug addict or something, right? But I mean, of course, that's what ended up happening anyways. But
so at what age was like your first drink? Or I'm assuming the drinking came before any kind of like drug use.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So at what age do you remember like your first drink?
I started drinking a freshman year, Huntington Beach High School. Just like most people I know, it was just literally just to fit in. You know, like prior to high school, I think you could say, well, I would say I was kind of like a loser, just straight up, just like this little tomboy in baggy pants and hoodies, still wear them, but like in my ponytail, just like running around playing soccer with the boys, or just in my chess club. Dude.
Chess is cool.
Yeah. Hey, I love chess, you know. Doing the band thing. But, you know, I just wanted to be like, I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be just like all these cool people that were all around me. There were so many people I looked up to, and I wanted to be like all these people. And I noticed that they all just partied, and I was kind of shy. So when I started going to parties with my friends, like I noticed drinking would help me to open up and talk to people. And when I figured that out, I started actually resorting to alcohol so I could just be more social. And then I started drinking outside of parties, like during school, or I don't know, like I found that I would just almost do anything just to fit in. It's pathetic really thinking about it and saying it right now, but it's true, you know, as a teenager, that's what we want to do, fit in.
Yeah. And how well did that work? The whole fitting in thing, did it work? Did it work?
Jeez. Yes and no. No. Yeah, I guess I was able to, I found myself hanging out with people that I wanted to hang out with. So in a way, yeah, it did, but it didn't because I would end up doing stupid shit, and that would leave, well, a bad name. That would leave just horrible consequences, bad reputations, just like, it was all bad, like, you know, good and bad.
Could we talk about some of those things?
Sure.
What would you say would be like the stupidest shit that you would have done?
Oh man.
Or if that's too crazy, give me the second one.
No, I mean,
if
it
it's like
was
setting shit on fire, things like that. Like,
no,
tell us about it.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. No, I mean, everybody knew about it. This is one of the stupidest shits I did, and when I was going to school was, I remember I went to Marina High School at this point. So I went to several high schools in Huntington Beach, and it was because of multiple reasons. Getting into trouble was the majority of the reason why. But anyways, at Marina High School, I ended up one of my friends had pulled out a bottle of gin from his backpack, and he was like, "Hey, check this out. You want to drink and play cards or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, let's do it." So we end up ditching. We like go through the back and hop over the wall, and we're literally in the back of the alley just playing Texas Hold'em and drinking shots of gin. And I remember the last thing I had remembered was getting up and saying, "Oh man, I gotta get back to school before my mom has to come pick me up," you know? And then I black out, and I wake up and I'm staring at the ceiling, and then I look around and I'm in a hospital bed. And I was like, fuck, what did I do this time? Like, it was always something. I always found myself in trouble.
How did you end up at the hospital?
What happened was I ended up going back, climbing the fence, because I don't know. I ended up going right back into my classroom and passing out, I guess. The teacher was calling on me or something, puking all in the classroom. I mean, it was awful. Like, and then like they called the hospital, and then they had the ambulance take me out of the school. And yeah, that's how I ended up there. It was so embarrassing. I had, I think, neighbors and people call my pops and tell him that they seen me get on an ambulance outside. And it was just so embarrassing.
And what was your like parents' reaction to like, all of these things?
Oh yeah, my dad didn't talk to me for a long time. I think he still holds a little bit of a grudge, but now that I've pulled so much horrible things, yeah, he kind of just shut me out. And then my mom, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was all bad. I feel like my parents didn't handle, I love my parents, but I don't think they handled things very well. So yeah, they didn't make things better. They tried, they tried to put me in a rehab. Which was, I think, the best thing that they could have done. So that was like my first time going to rehab, actually.
At what age was it? In high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and what was that experience like?
I didn't really care about anything. I didn't care to be there. I kind of treated it as a joke. Like, I was more interested in guys and making friends, and I just didn't care. Yeah.
So you didn't consider yourself, or you didn't think that you had a problem at this point?
Yeah, no. Hell no. I didn't think I had a problem. I thought my parents were tripping.
Yeah.
Like my parents, I'm not trying to again, they're good people, but I think they handled things not the best.
Yeah.
And
it's a difficult, position for them also, sometimes it's hard to think how you would react, right? Like, you might be able to say, yeah, I would react this way in this circumstance, but then when the time comes for that,
I didn't really care what my parents thought. I really didn't like my parents. I didn't get along with my parents. I had a really bad relationship with them. You know, I like when I came back from Ecuador, like I had said, I remember being very loved in Ecuador by my godparents. So when I came to Huntington Beach, I felt the opposite with my parents. And I understand now, like, why certain things, decisions were made, but yeah, I just went through, my mom was raised to, like, you know, just, gosh, I don't want to be throwing her under a bus or anything, but, like, I mean, you know, I was whipped with belts and stuff like that, you know, like I was like kind of dragged around by my hair. My pops was a little mean with his words. His words were very hurtful. And so I was constantly being screamed at. So I had built a lot of resentment towards them. And I was just a kid, you know. It was before high school. I was having to deal with, you know, all this just this madness, I guess. So when I got to high school, and you know, I started realizing I was having a lot of fun with, like, these new people drinking, and it was like I found it was actually quite a fun escape. And so when I got into a lot of trouble behind all this alcohol, I didn't care what my parents thought because I didn't get along with them, and all they did was hurt me with their words or physically. So, like, I didn't give a fuck. I just since that day, like, something in me just, like, switched. Like, I just stopped giving a fuck about anything. And if it hurt them, good, because they had hurt me. You know?
And at what point would you say that at least the drinking became kind of like an everyday thing?
Oh, man. Oh, gosh, that's a whole different story.
Does it happen like later down?
Yeah, actually, it did. I did 7 years in prison, and it was after prison that I started to I started to drink, like, on the daily. Prior to that, I got locked up when I was 23. So, you know, all through high school, I was running amok. I was getting kicked out of school. I was getting into fights. And that's when the fighting started, actually. Now that I think of it.
Were you fighting guys and girls or just girls?
Yeah, I've always fought guys and girls always. I don't really want to pound to that, but, like, when it was a self-defense, like, like, hey, like, if a dude,
not condoning fighting, but
if a dude is gonna punch me or spit on me, I'm gonna fucking hit him in the face. You know what I'm saying? And I've done it, and I will. I'd rather not. I'd rather not fight, you know? Like that's why I quit drinking, dude. That's why I quit drinking, because I don't want to fight no more. I don't want to hurt anybody. I know what it's like to get hurt. Physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally, like, on every fucking level. And I don't want to hurt nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so over it. And
no, I understand that.
Yeah, drinking definitely brought that out of me. The fighting.
But still, I mean, props to you for defending yourself, you know, even against anyone. So that's, you know, I gotta give you props for that one. So could we ask about, like, the prison time and, like,
let's talk about it.
Okay,
dude.
perfect.
That's what I was expecting to talk about.
Tell me how,
I mean,
you know, the whole arrest happened, and
how did Jesus,
how did that happen?
All right. Oh, man. So. So I got arrested for fighting. Now, this was a mutual fight. And luckily, my lawyer was able to prove that. And that's what was able to help me get a deal. Because I was facing 13 to life because this woman was acting like a victim. When what had happened was I told her to repeatedly leave me alone. She would constantly blow my phone up, and it all was behind drugs and alcohol. At this point in my life, I was dealing pills, everything, and but at this point it was the majority like Xanax and Norcos and Vicodins, and she had a really bad problem, and I felt really bad for this chick because she had been like abused sexually by her father, and it was just awful. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, dude, let me help you out. I'm always trying to help someone. Always. That's what SoCal Angels is about. Always trying to help people.
Shout out SoCal Angels.
But yeah, so I was trying to help her, but then she started getting crazy with me a little bit, like I kept ignoring her and she didn't like that. And then she called me out one day and I was under the influence. I was super heavy medicated under pills and drinking at the same time. So that was really was not in a great state of mind. Plus I was like it was just bad time in my life. So she had kind of caught me at a bad day. And I told her to leave me the fuck alone. I said she was just a crazy bitch. She just needed to go find some friends or something. I don't know. I wasn't very nice, but I was just sick of it, and she just was talking shit and kept talking shit. And then I had a fiance at the time and she was trying to get him fired. And he worked with her boyfriend. They did some dirt together, like just criminal activity. And so she was trying to throw him under the bus over our drama. And I was like, bitch, dude, shut the fuck up before I go over there and beat your ass. And she's like, you wish, little girl. And I was like, no, I'm serious. You better call the cops. I'm really going to come over there. And she's like, bring it on. And, so she was like, we were like this and that. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking serious. Just, so whatever. Right. So of course I went through with it. I said, I'm coming over. And she said, all right. And I showed up. And I knocked on her door, and I did show up with, again, I was super under the influence, okay? This is why I don't drink anymore or do drugs like that, or do drugs. I don't do drugs, I don't drink because I don't even want to take a pill. I'm scared to take Tylenol because I just it just flashback memories, so... I ended up knocking on her door and I had a baton up my sleeve. So, and a knife in my back pocket. And when she opened the door, I punched her in the face immediately. And we just started brawling. And at some point, we were holding each other's hair. And I was like, bitch, let go of my hair. And she we were just stuck. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. So I pulled out my baton and I just started hitting her with it. And all this is, obviously I went to prison for and everything. So it's not like I'm incriminating myself.
Yeah, we're free to talk about it.
But I'm just saying, I ended up hitting her with that baton. And so because I was under the influence and very, very, very emotional, am very angry. I do have an anger problem. Another reason why I don't drink. I just couldn't stop hitting her. Okay, like I just remember she was on the ground and I just couldn't stop. And all I kept saying was like, dude, I told you to leave me alone. And then when she finally said, I'm sorry, and it snapped me out of it, you know, and I stopped. It's like, I just snapped out of it. And then I was trying to figure out what to do. I was like pacing back and forth in her kitchen. And then I didn't notice that apparently she had been texting her neighbors who had a back house. And so as I was leaving out the door, I came in, they showed up and we were right there and face to face in front of the door. They looked at Megan and ran to her. I guess she was bleeding. I tried to leave and my keys were in the house. So my dumbass decided to go knock on that door and say, I need my keys because my car was in the parking lot. I mean, this was just a shit show. Like, it was ridiculous. And then it just got worse. Again, I was under the influence. Gosh, this is why you don't drink, you know.
Right.
Mixing pills and alcohol, another reason why you don't do that. For the people out there that take the meds. Geez, like, the neighbor came out and he looked a lot bigger than what he actually was. And he was like getting close to me. So I pulled my knife out on him and just to get him to back up. And he did. And he's like, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And I was like, in my head, I was like, no, I don't. I'm not trying to stab nobody. I've never stabbed nobody, like ever. Never, ever have I ever stabbed anybody. So I took off running and I hid the knife and the baton under a trash can lid in a neighbor's house. And then I came back and I was like, all right, dude, I don't have nothing. Just give me my keys. And he was on the phone with the cops and they were telling him to do that. So he gave me my keys and I took off. And it took a week for the cops to come get me. I was trying to actually leave that day, the day that they came to get me. It was pretty crazy. I was fighting. Oh gosh, it's so crazy to say it, but she was trying to act like. She was trying to act like, fuck. She was trying to act like I was trying to kill her or something. And so they literally were charging me with that, attempted murder. And I had to find a really good lawyer, because I had to prove that this was just a fight that went wrong and it was mutual. And she wouldn't leave me alone, for a while. And so I had to show proof of that. My parents ended up spending like $50,000 on one of the attorneys for Rodney King, one of his attorneys. And so luckily I had a good attorney because to prove that, it was she's not here just a victim, innocent, this was a mutual fight. Right.
And then you go to prison and
yeah.
How was that like? You said you did 7 years, right?
Oh man. Yeah, 7 long ass years. What was it like?
Yeah, what was it like in there?
What was it like? Jeez.
Was it okay, so was it like a super mag? Because I know that there is levels. We had Jessica on the show as well. She was explaining that there's levels to it. There's a 1, 2, 3, and 4 tier, right?
Oh, you're right. Yes, correct. There's different level prisons. I was transferred to level 4, highest level prison. So I was, it was fucking crazy. Really? It was it was all my nightmares come true, honestly. I was just a girl from Huntington Beach, a little skater girl, just trying to learn how to surf and partying. I wasn't, and then I just got like, I was never used to being around gangsters, like, you know. I always wanted to be one, right? So it was so crazy that, like, to be around the gnarliest gangsters, murders. I was very lucky, though, to have someone really, how do you say, wrap their wing around me. Like, my good friend, Baby Weta, who Jessica might even know the name. She's very big OG, like top. Like, we don't say shot callers, right? But you could say that she was like that, you know, because she did run shit, and she could tell, you know, I was just not part of their world.
Yeah.
And she's hardcore gangster from Compton. She was in there for attempted murder, protecting her brother, you know, gang related. They shot up her brother, so she shot back and they got paralyzed. So she was there. And, you know, so she was always there trying to protect people. Like, even like this hardcore gangster, like, who was like always fighting, like was literally fighting to protect herself or others. It was amazing. I got so lucky. And so there's a lot of people that backed off, and a lot of people that showed me more love, or it made my time. Well, I wouldn't say it made it easier, because I ended up with some enemies that I had no no interaction with. It was literally guilty by association, you know. So my prison experience was different. Like, it was good and bad. That's crazy to say, but I actually had some good times in there, and it was with my friends, like Baby Weta, and we had other crew, like other people in our little crew, in that little gang, you know. Everybody was a gangster, real ass gangsters from LA, all SoCal. Silly, sassy, little guy, you know, demon, you know. Shout out to all those people. You know, that's why I do this and speak to you, is because I hope to reach out to people like them, and who I know are currently struggling, you know, like Baby Weta, my friend who helped me in there, is struggling out here with drugs and alcohol. And I'm currently looking for her, you know, because I want to help her. And I'm setting the example, because, I mean, we went through it together. But my experience in there was different, you know, like, I kind of helped out on the low. I mean, low-key incriminating, but I don't care. You know, we brought in, I helped transfer stuff around, you know, just when a friend got caught, I was there, me and my friends were there to help move stuff, you know, hide phones. You know, we had money. They had money because they had their drugs and stuff that they were selling and all that stuff. I had money just because of my family. And so that's also another reason why it was easy for me to fit in, was because I was able to have like the nicest stuff and have everything I needed. So I kind of like, I could easily fit in, right? But that's not like like we were a family in there, you know? And so our time was better because we were together. Yeah. But the worst times, that's a whole different story. The worst times in prison was when I was left on my own.
So you get out of prison what year?
I went in 2011 and I got out in 2018.
2018.
January 12th.
And you said that the everyday drinking started after the prison term, right?
Yeah.
Was there any kind of drinking, just to backtrack, any kind of drinking or, substance abuse during your time in prison?
Oh, in prison, I was, I was still drinking. We were still making, I was always finding a way to drink. We were making our own hooch. My ex-husband, we ended up getting married because I was going to prison and conjugal visits, honestly. So during those conjugal visits, I was able to get what I needed. So, I still run amok in there. In fact, I think it got worse actually because of who I hung out with. So these people I hung out with were pushing like heroin, and that was my first time ever seeing heroin was in prison. And this was with Baby Weta. And she already been caught for this, so everybody knows. It's all on paperwork already. So, but that's the first time I seen heroin, and I did try it. Tried a couple of times, and I did it the way you had not heard it done before, except for one other time, was with the liquid, and you sniff it, and snort it. It was, they warm it up in a spoon, liquefy it, add a little water, and then snort it with like a little like clear plastic tube you could get from a pen or something. I was just so curious because that's all they did. All my friends, they all did heroin, and it's just so true, you do become like your friends. And slowly that kind of happened to me. Like, I even got more violent.
So just the reason why I asked that question is because, a lot of people think that, okay, it's prison, it's closed off. A lot of people experience I wouldn't say sobriety. What the term I've heard used before is like being dry, for example, or when your mindset is not at the point of being ready for sobriety or being clean, but you just don't have access to it. So you're kind of forced to not do it. And then, a lot of people, they'll have years clean or sober when they're in prison, and then they'll come out and, the first day, go right back into it. So that's just a common theme that we see, but also we see that, there's a lot of use as well in there. It just depends on who you're around and what kind of connections and access you have.
Exactly. And I was always around the drugs and the alcohol because we were the connection. So, no, I never stopped drinking. And the party never stopped. Unfortunately, I did get worse. Like I said, I had to learn how to be like my friends. They had to teach me to toughen up, and they told me I had to step up and fight if I had to, and so it's what I ended up doing. And that's I think that's actually what was really hard to get over. And I think I still I do struggle with is those memories, the violent memories. Shit, dude. It got so bad in there, I realized God was real. That's when I found God, was when I was locked up. And finding my higher power is what helped me get sober. That's what helped me quit drinking. I walked my ass straight to an AA meeting because of that. But I had been praying to my higher power, to God, since I was locked up and begging for help. He saved my life in there. And by that, I mean, like, literally, I was going to be getting shanked. Shit happened that I just can't, like, it's unexplainable to me, how people were just removed out of my life. And that's hard to do in prison, to get moved out of, like, your just your yard, your where you live. Like, I mean, like, it's insane, so the things that were happening, being removed, like, God moves mountains for you, for real, and I felt that in there. Like, he kept me safe, not just only my friends, but God kept me safe. But there were many close calls, many violent situations. So yeah, when I got out of prison, that was the hardest thing. Was that I was still in this gang mentality, this, like, violent gang mentality, not just even like a prison gang mentality, which is a whole different level, So, and I came home to my now ex-husband, and I like, we both drank a lot, and I started just the way I dealt with him. Well, he straight up told me he felt like a prisoner. Like, he felt like he was around an inmate. Like, I was so aggressive. I was so quick to step up to his face and be like, shut the fuck up, like, if he talked to me the wrong way. And that's not cool, because, like, there's a right way to talk to people. And I feel like I grew up in prison. That was where I did all my 20s. And I learned how to talk to people in the most fucked up way. And I learned how to handle situations, disrespect, or things I didn't like in the most violent way, in the most aggressive way. So when I came out, that's how I was. And then I felt like the whole time I was locked up, I was super depressed because I felt like I was missing out. I was missing out on what everybody else was doing. They were living their life, having fun on Main Street. I had a picture of fucking Huntington Beach Pier on my bunk bed. I was on the lower bunk, and I remember having a pier there with a bunch of pictures of everything. And all I would think about is Huntington Beach and the beach. And I just wanted to be there with everyone. And so when I got out, gosh, like, I immediately started drinking. I mean, like I said, I never stopped. It just got worse. I hid it behind my parole officer's back too, And then I started leaving late at night to go drink, He'd work his ass off and I was out drinking. I pretty much sabotaged my marriage. So I was aggressive, physically, verbally. I just handled everything so wrong. And then when I was, and I know it's because I was also drinking. I know of drinking made everything worse, because I still deal on a sober level, dude. Like, I still deal with anger problems, and I still deal with flashbacks, PTSD, maybe some depression every once in a while, but like now I'm learning how to how to deal with things differently, like, I know that if I drink, I will become someone I don't want to be. And that's violent, aggressive. In order for me to be the best version of myself, I can't drink.
Right.
Because that only brings out the worst version of myself.
Right. And at what point did you realize that the drinking and the lifestyle was due for a change?
Man, I mean, when I went through my divorce, but I couldn't stop. My divorce was like 6 years ago. I've literally been drinking since then every single day. And to be honest with you, I think that's what really stemmed, like the daily, that's what started the everyday drinking was my divorce. Yeah, and it wasn't until like 11 months ago, December 28th. It was December 28th. I realized like how out of control I really was, like, because, I mean, I had caught a couple cases, fighting again, always for fighting. And I was like ruining Christmas, of course, a couple of days prior to that, you know, with my alcoholic behavior and angry tantrums, alcoholic behavior. The things I had said to my mother. And also super dark, but just like truly, truly wanting to die. I knew something was wrong. And so I just didn't want to live like that. I just couldn't believe, like, I was talking to my mom and telling her that I just wanted to die. That's what I looked forward to, you know. And that wasn't cool. And no mother should have to hear that. And I shouldn't have to feel that. And so, yeah, that's the day I got sober. I walked to the pier first because I just got out of her car and took off. And I walked to the pier and ran into someone that told me, well, he worked at a recovery center. And I told him, you know, I was struggling with drinking. I tried to stop drinking for the past year. I kept falling off. I could only do 2 days maybe. I couldn't go more without drinking. And he told me to go to AA. And so I walked from the pier to Thursdays, which is all the way in Seal Beach. It was a long ass walk. But I was so desperate to quit drinking. To feel alive and want to feel alive.
Yeah. And what would you say was like the main reason why let me reword this. How did you know that alcohol was the main problem? That all these things that you were dealing with were because of alcohol?
Oh, well, because I don't get into trouble unless I drink. Like, when I thought about all my problems, it always stemmed from alcohol. Like, always. Like, every time I got into a fight, every time I got arrested so many times in my life. You know, like every fucking like horrible argument or bad decisions I made were literally from alcohol. And, you know, I just want to be the best version of myself. And I want to reach my potential, you know. I heard someone say that their grandpa, it came from a show, like their grandpa was walking them past a cemetery, and the grandpa pointed at the cemetery and said, there are many artists and athletes and lawyers and doctors all right here, but they never saw themselves reach that potential. All that is wasted potential. And when I thought about that a lot, I thought about, like, I don't want to be wasted potential. I had wanted to be in that cemetery many times in my life, But I would have just been one of those same people that were wasted potential. And I walk with a purpose. Like, I want to reach my potential. When I'm in that cemetery, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to die sober. You know, I want to be just an example. I want to be a light, like, you know, like all that, you know, that's the goal.
That's amazing. And going back to your spiritual experience that you had while you were in prison, how would you say that carried out with you until today?
Oh man, dude, it's like I said, like, I mean, he's answered, like, I can't deny that there is a God. Like, the day that, like, okay, many times through my prison sentence, I had prayed for help, like, when it came to dealing with some crazy bitch. There are crazy bitches everywhere. It's scary. But like, so I know, like, I remember just being scared all the time. I really was. I was scared a lot. And I just felt like the last time where I knew where my prayer was answered was like, I was defending one of my friends, Nikki Martinez, who is running a bunch of stuff like treatment centers and doing stuff down in San Diego right now. Anyways, I was defending her, and with my roommate. My roommate was in there with a life sentence. She caught a life sentence after 7 years for killing her girlfriend. And it was it's a long story, but anyways, I was defending my friend Nikki, who she hated. We were getting into like this physical altercation in my room. It was an 8-man cell, and like, you know, she's got like a cast on, and she's literally trying to headlock me. And I'm like, dude, I'm in my socks slipping, and I'm like, dude, like, seriously, knock it off. Like I know I could have fucked her up, right? But I was just like, knock it off. Like, I don't want to fucking go there with you right now, you know? Like, because we were cool at some point, and I really didn't want to go there with her, like, you know? And so I just turned my back, and I'm sitting on my bunk bed, but I'm watching her reflection from my TV. I have a TV in front of me. And so I'm watching her reflection. And then my homegirl, who in the bunk bed next to me up in the top bunk, she's like, dude, she's like, check it out. She's putting on a Shank together. So in my head, this was when I knew God was real. In my head, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if she shanks me. I don't give a fuck if I die. I don't care, dude. Like, end my misery. Gosh damn. Like, I still got some years here, you know? Like, I hate my life. I don't care. And so, but then I saw the pictures of my family, on the locker that I had put it on next to me. And I realized, you know, like, I couldn't do this to my family. Not my mom, not my brother, my sister, my family, my dad, you know, because they were waiting for me. And so I started praying, and I just prayed really hard. I just remembered repeating to God, my higher power, just let me live through this. Like, no matter how much blood there is spilled, please just let me live through this. And over and over, I just kept begging for him to, as I visualized the whole scene go down, ugly. This bitch already killed her girlfriend and caught a life sentence. Who the fuck am I? Of course you're gonna, like, not give a fuck about me. Well, what the fuck happens? The doors unlock, okay? We have unlock every hour on the hour. No other time. And it just happened to be that time. And they unlocked. And at the same time, I had another roommate trying to tell Pinky, the girl that was putting up the shank, they were like, please don't stab her. We don't want to see blood. You know how we get when I see blood, it gets me crazy. They're all trying to stop her, and they're all trying to convince her not to stab me and stuff like that. And I'm in my bed just praying with my back turned, and it's just like, all of a sudden, unlock. You hear it on the mic, unlock. And she fucking walks out. She walks out of that fucking room, and I never see her again. Ever.
Yeah, that's a
A
crazy
week
story.
later, I get transferred to a different prison. A prison I have been begging and fucking writing forms to go to for the past years. Years. It takes forever to get approved. All this shit happened back to back. Like, you can't tell me there's no God. You know what
You
happened to
definitely
this
can't.
chick? This chick literally went up to a cop and was like, I really felt like God, I really feel like God was really working within her. Like he works through us. He's, you know, and I really think she was feeling guilty and she knows we were good, dude. She was just on drugs and drinking. She was just under the influence. It was just gonna make another bad decision like all of us do. And she went up to its officer and was like, I got to go back to the hole, you know, like the shoe, you know, that's what we call a shoe. And he's like, no, you can't. And she's like, what do I got to do? And then she just ended up spitting in his face. And they fucking took her to the hole and I never saw her again. And I lived with that nightmare. That shook me, dude. That shook me for a long time. I had really bad PTSD from that. Like any little fight or anything, I was always just jumpy. Like I had fucking nightmares with that situation. Like that was the worst experience I had. Well, surprisingly not the worst in there.
Yeah, that's a powerful. There's a lot of powerful imagery there with you know God intervening. And what would you say is your higher power? Like, you know, my higher power. For me, that's such a term because I don't use that term. For me, there's just God. You know, Jesus for me. So you know, what is it for you?
I like to use the word higher power because I feel like it relates to everyone on every level in every religion. I was raised Catholic, but I veered away from the Catholic Church just because I just felt, you know, I had my disagreements, and that's where I felt I lost God, and I found him in prison, or he found me. And so that was hard for me to deny that there is a God. But the religions and everything, right? They sometimes confuse me, all this stuff. I know that there is a higher power. I know that there is something greater than us up there. You know, we are all praying to something that is intervening in all our lives. You know, shifting our lives to our liking if we can, and we can make that can be made for us if we build a relationship with this higher power. I choose to say God, preferably, because I also, you know, believe in Jesus Christ. And I do, I guess you would say I'm Christian. I know the word Christian just means to be Christ-like. So I do believe that.
Follower of Jesus.
But I like to, when I talk about, I like to consider myself spiritual. And when I talk about God, on like a platform or open level or just to people I don't know, I like to say higher power because then we can get rid of all the rules, what I think is man-made rules, right? Sometimes. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So all I know is that there's something greater than us. Something of some kind of higher power, you know? And I think that's, if we can just cling on to that and pray to that, that's how we can get sober. That's what helped me quit drinking. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't.
That's amazing. And
I mean, I take that back. The community in AA has helped me a lot.
Definitely.
So God brought me to them, and they have guided me through, you know, the sober lifestyle.
Yeah. What recommendation, like what advice would you give to, let's say your friend right now who's watching and struggling, for her or him to embark on that journey of change and find that sobriety?
What kind of advice would I give?
How would you convince this person? Let's say they were standing in front of you right now. Like, how would you get this
if I
person?
were to like be talking to Baby Weta, oh my gosh, oh man, dude, I'm telling you, Baby Weta, like me and the homegirls have all been looking for her. I know she's out there in Compton in the streets somewhere, and I'm sad to know that, because when she got out, she actually helped me. She was in a nonprofit organization and was helping people. So with that said, man, if I could talk to Baby Weta right now, I would say that the world needs people like you, like us, because there are many people hurting, and it takes strong people like all of us to help them. And the only way we could truly help people is to help ourselves first. So, man, Baby Weta, and to every other person out there that is struggling, is back in their addiction or alcoholism, back in their gangs. Like it all just leads to prison, death. I've seen many people die, or like the streets, like you're literally homeless. Like it doesn't get better ever. It only gets worse. The only way for your life to get better is to stop. Like, that's it. You just gotta just fucking stop and cling on to people that are doing it, that are sober. There are programs such as Yellowstone Recovery Center, the Knoll Family Foundation, Unfucked has treatment centers. All these treatment centers, their doors are open and they're there to help you. And then your life will get better. It doesn't happen right away, but it does get better. But you have to start dealing with whatever hurts you, whatever is hurting you, in order to start healing and sober up.
That was powerful. And the last question, I always like to end it off by asking this question. Say, today was our last day, for example. Like right now, like a meteor comes down and crushes us all, even our videographer. How would you want, not him, he's the best. I hope he survives. But how would you want the world to remember you as?
Oh, well.
And all the people that you've ever encountered.
I would want to be remembered as SoCal Angels. Because I started this brand when I got sober. Because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help my community. And that's what I do with my brand. I try to be a good example. I try to be a light. I want people to remember that is what I am. That is what I do. I just want to help people and just be a good influence and a good role model, because the world needs role models today.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
All righty. Good job. That was amazing. You did so well.
Jesus.
You were